We're going to explore a topic I know many of us grapple with, really building that confidence when you're speaking English. Yeah, we've really dug into a fantastic collection of source material this time. It's full of real-life stories, some incredibly practical tips, and these powerful mindset shifts, all shared by a master English podcast, honestly packed with insights from people just like you. So our mission today is basically to cut through the noise. We want to give you a shortcut, to understanding the most effective ways to feel more comfortable, more genuinely confident when you speak English. Doesn't matter what your current level is. This isn't about chasing some kind of elusive perfection. It's really about making real, tangible progress.
Exactly. And what really stood out, I think, from looking at all these sources is that confidence in speaking English. Well, it's not some gift you're born with, not at all. It's a skill. And like any skill, you develop it meticulously, step by step. And it comes through action, consistent action. The real breakthrough, I think, happens when you understand what you need to do and maybe even more importantly, why it matters. And it's exactly what we're going to try and unpack today.
That's such a critical point. It really reframes how we think about building any skill, doesn't it? And that ties perfectly into our first big insight, which is all about this, pretty massive mindset shift. The sources really hammer home that the biggest obstacle often to speaking confidently is that fear, the fear of making mistakes or, being judged. We sort of know intellectually that mistakes are part of learning, but why is it so incredibly hard to actually, embrace them when we're in the moment speaking English?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, isn't it? And what these stories show is that it's not just about knowing it.
Yeah.
It's about fundamentally changing how you talk to yourself, your internal dialogue.
Right. Like Alex's story, he was initially pretty nervous about making mistakes, especially in meetings. But his breakthrough came when he just stopped fixating on being perfect. He shifted his focus to just sharing his ideas clearly. And he realized, and this is a quote, I think, mistakes are part of learning. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Mark, the teacher. He actively fought that fear of judgment using positive self-talk. He'd actually tell himself things like, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers, or remind himself, I am improving every day and my voice matters.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And he even used practical techniques like deep breathing just to calm his nerves before he had to speak.
Okay, so it's a mix of mindset and physical techniques too.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is this common thread you see. Confidence doesn't always come before the action. So often it's the action itself, doing the thing, that actually builds the confidence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like Peter, who was worried about his accent, afraid people might laugh. A coach helped him see the goal wasn't getting rid of his accent. It was just clear communication. And his confidence just soared when he got that said. That people respected his effort and, importantly, that his accent was part of him.
Right. It's part of his identity.
Mm-hmm. And similarly, Emma, the nurse, she learned that when talking to patients, quote, people appreciate effort and kindness more than perfect grammar.
That's huge, especially in a caring profession.
Definitely. And Daniel, working in a supermarket, he used this clever mental trick. He'd pretend the customers were just friends he was helping out. And that simple shift just helped him relax and speak much more naturally.
That's a great tip.
It really makes you wonder, though, how do we actually internalize this idea of taking action even when we're scared so we can keep making progress, consistently?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because knowing something is one thing, but actually living it day to day is another beast entirely. And what we found, digging through these sources, is that often it's those small, consistent actions that start to rewire things. Which brings us nicely to our second core insight. Confidence isn't some bolt from the blue. It's built brick by brick through consistent, manageable steps, and also specifically preparing for certain situations that can really help dial down the anxiety.
Absolutely. The power of consistency and targeted effort really shines through. That theme of daily manageable practice was huge across the board. You hear about people like Alex, who just committed to saying a few sentences each day. That's it.
Just starting small.
Exactly. Or Sarah, who was shy about her accent. She started just by reading aloud from a book every morning and repeating sentences from English videos she watched. That helped her pronunciation and her confidence. Even short bursts, like, say, 10 minutes a day, seemed really transformative for people like Emily and David. They just wove English into their daily routines, chatting with loved ones.
It sounds a bit like physical training, doesn't it? Building those speaking muscles slowly, steadily.
That's a great analogy. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, It's about creating this kind of ongoing practice environment for yourself. And it's not just structured speaking practice either. Many people found success with more immersive techniques.
Like what?
Well, Lisa, for example.
Yeah.
She got over that hesitation of constantly translating in her head by actively thinking in English during daily tasks. Like she'd narrate the steps of cooking to herself, but in English.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. And Helen used sticky notes, put them all around her house with English words or phrases, and read them aloud daily.
Simple but effective.
Very. And then there's shadowing. That's a really powerful one.
Explain that a bit more.
Sure. Shadowing is where you listen to someone speaking English, maybe a short sentence, and you immediately repeat it right after them like an echo. It's fantastic for pronunciation, obviously, but also for getting a feel for the natural rhythm and intonation of English. It trains your mouth and your brain simultaneously.
Right, getting the music of the language.
Precisely. And it's not just about general practice either. That strategic targeted preparation we mentioned, it's a total game changer for specific situations.
Yeah, tell me more about that, because general practice is one thing, but specific situations can still be daunting.
For sure. So take Emma the nurse again. She actually wrote down common sentences she used at work and practiced saying them aloud each morning. So she felt genuinely ready for her shifts. It wasn't just abstract practice. It was highly relevant.
That makes so much sense, feeling prepared.
Exactly. Or Olivia, she mentioned preparing just a few simple questions in advance for social events. Knowing she had those ready instantly made her feel more in control and less anxious about making small talk.
That's a great practical tip for networking or parties.
Definitely. And even for things that feel high stakes, like phone calls. Susan practiced common phone phrases. She even wrote little scripts for different scenarios and recorded herself to check how she sounded.
Oh, recording yourself. We'll come back to that later, I think.
We will. And Tom, the businessman, did something similar for presentations. Wrote short speeches for common topics, practiced daily, recorded himself to improve his tone, his clarity. It's all about being ready for those specific moments you know are coming up where you'll need to speak.
Yeah, anticipating the need and preparing for it.
Exactly. And that idea of practice, especially practicing with others or getting support, brings us neatly to our next key area, which is the power of finding supportive environments and maybe even practicing collaboratively.
Right.
And this really raises an important question for you listening. How can you maybe leverage your existing social circles or find new low-pressure places to create these kinds of vital learning opportunities for yourself?
That's a great question to keep in mind, because our third core insight really underlines this. Finding a safe, encouraging community, or even just one trusted practice partner, can massively speed up building confidence. It gives you that essential low-pressure zone where mistakes aren't just, accepted, they're actually seen as part of the whole process.
It really emphasizes the value of connection in language learning. So many sources pointed to the benefits of joining groups or classes. There was John, who moved to a new country. He found huge support in just the local club where people practiced English together. He said he felt totally at ease because he knew mistakes were okay, even welcomed.
That sense of psychological safety is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Michael, the software engineer, he found a weekly conversation group at his local community center. He thrived there because the whole vibe was supportive, and they actively encouraged mistakes as just part of growing.
Yeah.
These stories really show that when you find that safe space, that fear of judgment, it just starts to melt away.
It lowers the stakes.
Exactly. And what's really insightful here is how often these sources mention that social connection just smooths the path to confidence.
Right.
And it wasn't just formal groups. Many people found incredible success just practicing with partners or, loved ones.
Using your personal network?
Precisely. David, for instance, he spoke with his wife daily in English. She'd listen patiently, gently correct him sometimes, all within this safe and loving environment. That made all the difference.
That's ideal if you have someone supportive like that.
It is. And Rachel, a mother, she practiced school-related phrases with her husband. They'd actually role-play conversations.
Like parent-teacher meetings.
Yeah, exactly. So she felt totally ready for the real talks with her kids' teachers.
That's smart role-playing.
And Anna, another nurse, she'd role-play medical conversations with her husband at home. These personal connections, they create this private, judgment-free zone where you can really experiment and stretch yourself without feeling exposed.
So, Okay, what does this boil down to for you, the listener? It seems it's really about consciously creating your own practice space.
Yeah.
If you don't have formal groups handy, maybe it's with a family member, a trusted friend. The absolute key is finding that safe place where you feel comfortable enough to just try things out, make those mistakes, and grow without that constant fear hanging over you.
Well said. And that focus on growth and noticing progress leads us perfectly into our final core insight, which is all about self-awareness, positive reinforcement, and actually tracking your progress, understanding how you sound, maybe even how you look when you speak, and actively, consciously acknowledging your small wins. They can give your confidence and motivation a massive boost. It sustains the whole journey.
Yeah, it really sounds like becoming your own best coach, maybe your own cheerleader too. And the sources gave some fantastic, really practical examples of this. For self-awareness, a really common and effective tip was simply recording your voice. Just record yourself speaking, listen back, and notice your progress over time.
It could be a bit cringy at first, listening to yourself.
Oh, definitely. But David, the guy practicing with his wife, he recorded short messages to her just to get comfortable hearing his own voice in English.
That's a gentle way in.
Yeah. And Susan, practicing for phone calls, she recorded herself doing those scripts. Tom recorded his business speeches. It helps you fine-tune things like tone and clarity.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just audio. There was Brian, a shy student. He actually prepared and practiced speaking in front of a mirror.
Oh, interesting. Why?
To see his expressions, his body language, he said it made him much more comfortable when he actually had to do presentations for real. Seating himself helped him feel more in control.
That makes sense. Seeing what others see.
Exactly. And what's especially compelling here is pairing that self-feedback with deliberately acknowledging every small win. It really reinforces that idea that, quote, confidence is not about being the best. It's about showing up.
I like that, showing up.
Yeah. And for celebrating progress, many people found value in keeping just a simple journal or even just notes, jotting down things like spoke to a stranger today or use that new phrase successfully.
Well, victories.
Exactly. Seeing those entries pile up over time, it gives you concrete proof of how far you've actually come, even when it doesn't feel like it day to day.
Right, because progress isn't always linear, is it?
Not at all. Emma, the homemaker we mentioned, she started using gestures more, learned specific vocabulary like rising for baking, and eventually gained enough confidence just through trying and celebrating those small steps that she started teaching a baking class.
Wow, that's amazing growth.
Isn't it? And James, the taxi driver, he got a negative comment early on, which could have derailed him. But he kept practicing, focused on being clear, and now apparently passengers specifically ask for him because he's easy to understand.
That's fantastic, turning it around.
It really is. It's about recognizing that every small step, every single time you try, it's a win. And it builds on the last one.
So it's crystal clear from all this, isn't it? Building this kind of confidence isn't about waiting for some, sudden revelation. It's really the compounding effect of consistent, imperfect effort. Like the sources kept reminding us, confidence is a skill. You develop it step by step. Every single time you speak, you are getting better, even if it doesn't feel like it right in that moment. So don't fear the mistakes. Each one is just, a lesson learned that helps you improve.
Absolutely. And if we were to emphasize sort of the overarching point from all these insights, it's truly about aiming to be clear, brave, and maybe even kind in your communication. It's not about chasing some impossible standard of perfection. Your unique voice, your accent, your perspective, it's valuable. And the consistent effort you put in, that's what genuinely counts at the end of the day.
That's a wonderful way to put it. Clear, brave, and kind. So this really brings us to a final thought, maybe a provocative question for you, our listener, to kind of mull over. What is one small thing, just one that you can do today, right now maybe, to start building your English-speaking confidence? Perhaps it's just speaking aloud about a topic you love for 1 minute, or trying that shadowing technique with one simple sentence you hear, or maybe just practicing a common phrase you'll probably use tomorrow. Taking that first step, however small, it often feels like the hardest part. But based on everything we've heard from these stories, it's always, always worth it.